Dun, 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 dun. Dude, what's it been, like a year since the last Star Wars movie? Almost,
yeah, Rogue
something
One.
like that. Yeah, Rogue One
came out in December.
And you can check out the reviews at the end of this video.
Dude, I still get chills every time the crawl starts. It's like I'm a child right there on the screen. I'm like,
yeah,
that's the feeling you get, man.
Dude.
No matter what the reviews say, no matter what the critics say, like you sit down in that movie theater, once the crawl starts, you're hooked. That's all you need.
Definitely, man. I mean, there's a reason Star Wars team made it to your top 10 movie scores of all time and not on mine, but you know, it's like,
yeah, but
I
dude,
mean, simply because like that whole composition, it's much longer and parts of it just aren't as awesome as the part they play at the beginning of the movie.
But once the crawl starts, forget about
definitely,
it. You're hooked.
I know people who aren't. Anyways,
nobody's perfect.
Nobody. Anyways, we're here to talk about The Last Jedi. If you looked at the timestamp on this video, there's...
It kind of goes on for a while? Or it's supposed to go on for a while? Or it might go on for a while, we have not decided yet.
If you haven't seen the movie, don't worry about it. First part of this video is gonna be without any spoilers.
Exactly.
By the time we get to the spoilery parts, trust me, we'll warn you like we usually do. Or
we'll just bring it on you, you never know.
You never know. Let's hope... Listen, The Last Jedi is dividing
the audience. To a minimum.
We'll try to keep it to a minimum. We'll try not to make it happen. However, listen, The Last Jedi, we've seen it like a few days ago. Took us a while to...
So premiere couldn't quite sit down and record this thing. So.
And there's been a lot of things that we wanted to hear other people talk about the movie, bring up some ideas, mull through the movie ourselves, because the Star Wars universe is huge and there's a lot of parts playing into it. So, having said that, we've been looking forward to The Last Jedi. I certainly hoped there would be a much better movie than I hoped Force Awakens was, even though I like that movie a lot. And The Last Jedi surprised me in a few moments. In a few instances, I saw a few of the things coming, like the first scene with Luke showing up, and that we're gonna spoil later. But listen, Last Jedi is dividing audiences again. To me, it's a great movie. One of the better Star Wars movies, I'd say.
I would actually mimic that. I was like, it's not Empire.
Listen,
but it might be Empire for this particular trilogy.
Is, and
it lives up to it.
Definitely, it's literally Empire Strikes Back, and it's flipped upside down. Pretty much. And
listen, my biggest gripe with this movie was the audience. Ever since the title of the movie was announced as The Last Jedi, this speculation started. Who's the Last Jedi? What about Kylo Ren? What about Leia? What about Luke? What about Rey? What about Finn? What about Poe? What about BB-8? Could CP3O be
you forgot
the Last Jedi?
Chewie. You forgot Chewie. Can't forget
Maybe Chewie was the Last Jedi. Maybe the Porgs were the Last Jedis.
Oh, but let's not even get
so
into
many
Porgs, man.
speculations about, and then all these rumors starting around. Listen, nobody saw the movie at that point. You can't speculate on stuff. Yes,
especially once the trailer dropped out, and there's those famous words.
Well, I didn't even see the trailer. I don't watch trailers for this exact reason.
I was able to skip completely on the Star Wars trailer. I don't know how, but I made it through. And
this is the reason why I don't watch. I want to go into the movies, sit down in my chair, and be surprised.
We still watch trailers, but it's for the indie and lesser known movies that we're planning on seeing.
Or you know, when Disney drops the Nutcracker trailer, you're like, okay, let's see what this is about.
Yeah, I've never seen Nutcracker, so...
The movie's pretty fun.
I haven't seen the movie, I haven't seen the ballet. Anyways.
The audience was so involved in the movie.
Okay.
Even before the movie started.
Go there, yeah.
And now you'll see, of course, you see mixed reviews for The Last Jedi because people are like, oh my god, this didn't happen. Of course it didn't happen. Nobody told you it would happen.
Brings us back to the expectations people set for themselves when they go see a movie. Don't go in with the expectations. Don't expect things to happen because, you know what, you're gonna be surprised. You're gonna be disappointed which most people are.
Which is exactly what happened once they went and saw the movie. They figure out, well, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, and
so
this
movie
didn't happen.
sucks.
Nobody told you that was happening. That was all up here. You figured it might happen, and then when it didn't, you got disappointed. Don't do that.
Nope.
I like the fact that people are involved. Listen, listen, that's the best PR. You drop a Star Wars trailer, a teaser, poster, you drop a name, all of a sudden fans are reacting. That's all good and well. I like that. I think folks at Disney are loving that, because that means they get PR out of nothing that the name alone.
Yeah. And
that means they don't have to pay for it. All the better for 'em. So you want fan involvement, but when you take it too far and stuff with The Last Jedi that happened, as far as the fans are concerned, I think some of that stuff went too far. And then people went to see the movie, got disappointed. You just can't do that watching a movie, especially not something like Star Wars.
Listen, the movie rings Star Wars. Ryan Johnson, I
don't have enough superlatives for the guy.
Listen,
what he did with this movie,
I liked Looper, so I knew that what he was gonna do with the Star Wars, it's gonna be up to par. And listen, watching The Last Jedi, the movie rings Star Wars. Like, there's a theme, there's a feel. I mean, just like it was with Force Awakens, just like it was with Rogue One, The Last Jedi has that feel, like the ambience, the atmosphere of the Star Wars universe. Like, once that opening crawl starts, like, you know you're in
hooked.
it, and once the movie starts, you're there. So it's like
away.
You're literally there. So it's like the guy did nothing wrong in my book. I mean, sure, there might have been a few points in the movie where
listen,
I don't know.
If you want to nitpick and look for plot holes, you're probably gonna find some. You're gonna find them, because you can't.
Yeah.
You can't make a movie without them. You're always gonna find something that's wrong with the movie, but it takes away from the overall movie going experience.
So let's cut to the chase. What's your rating?
My rating for this one, I did the Rogue One first. You did this one.
You remember doing that, man? You just, I know. I'm gonna give The Last Jedi. You know what? I'm gonna give it a. I would have to watch it a few more times, but for right now,
we're definitely rewatching this at some point. Probably not at the movie theater, just because it's so damn expensive. But once it gets out on Blu-ray and DVD stuff, definitely rewatch.
I'm gonna give it a 24 for now.
I want to give it
more.
24, 25
I want to give
range.
it more, but I just
that was mine too.
I have to rewatch it again. But initial reaction is definitely 24 out of 30. And for those who don't know, it's like that's
our rating goes up to 30.
It's just like it is.
Easier.
Count 30 as 100%. So basically, it's 7 out of 10. Okay, so yeah, 24. I think it's a pretty solid rating.
Mine was there
the
too,
movie
like 24,
is
25.
representing, and for what it's set up, because what it's set up is absolutely amazing. And most people didn't see it coming and were surprised and for some reason disappointed. And I'm gonna tackle one of those issues without any spoilers. Well, it's kind of spoiler because we're gonna talk about Snoke.
Here's the thing: we're gonna talk about stuff at this point. Have you watched it? Listen, the overall experience is: listen, go there, watch the movie, enjoy the movie, because there's so much stuff happening in this movie, plot-wise.
Yeah, just
they're setting up not just Episode 9; they're setting up the next couple of trilogies here. They're
possibly they're
redefining the Force as we know it.
Not really. Not really.
Yeah, not really.
Not really.
Okay, yeah, not really.
Not really.
But they're saying like this is listen. There's stuff
and we're gonna talk about
this
as soon as you finish that monologue. We're gonna jump right to it. So we're gonna tackle
there's so much stuff happening in this
yeah.
movie. They're setting up so much stuff, and they're doing. Yeah, it's listen. You gotta watch it because like there's multiple plot points as always.
Movie came out last week. It's Wednesday today.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday in some parts of the world. Maybe when you're watching this, it's already Friday. I don't know.
We don't know when
if you haven't seen the movie so far, you have no business being here anyway. I mean, or watching this video at all. We already told you go watch the movie. So
exactly, you're gonna love the visual effects are great. The characters, I'm
the
not
music.
Even gonna talk.
I mean, if you love Star Wars, you're gonna love the movie. If you don't love Star Wars, this is not the movie to start watching it. So
yeah.
If you're at this point, just go do something else. We love you. Thank you for being here until this point so far.
Yeah,
we
appreciate the spoiler part starts.
So
now we're gonna drop stuff that's happening in the movie. Just explain a few things.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, the I'm not gonna call it the expanded universe because the expanded universe went out of the bag. So in the Star Wars canon, new Star Wars canon, since Disney bought Lucasfilms, basically we got this Emperor Leader Snoke, right? The Supreme Leader Snoke. And we don't know his origin story. Some people speculate that his origin story was kind of like we were gonna discover it in The Last Jedi, but that didn't happen. And most people got disappointed because they couldn't understand why Snoke was even in the movie, since they didn't even understand who he really was. And you know what? To me, that didn't bother me one bit, because he was in the movie for the whole 5 minutes anyway. He pretty much took up the mantle after the Palpatine died, and...
Listen, I'm pretty sure at some point he's gonna get a book or something. And we're gonna figure out who he is, just because at this point there's so many who is Snoke questions. The Disney's, they're gonna do something about it, probably put him in a book so you can get the background story. But even for The Force Awakens, his character wasn't that important other than the fact that he was the Supreme Leader.
Exactly.
He didn't have enough screen time.
Could he have been much more involved in the movie like Emperor Palpatine was? Definitely.
Definitely. But I like what they did to him. They set him up in a way, this is Supreme Leader. And in the end, he became Kylo Ren's final step, if you would, into becoming going full Sith. He killed his father in The Force Awakens, and he killed Snoke
here and
in The Last Jedi, and I think that cements his.
And the way he does it, like if you didn't see it coming, seriously, people. I mean, it was gonna happen. Like I knew it. Like, and listen,
there was no question when Kylo was bringing Rey to Snoke. He knew he was gonna kill him.
Yeah, and also from the. Listen, and I listened to John Campea the other day, who is somewhat of an authority on the fandom of Star Wars, but he pretty much said that if you go into it and compare, basically if you compare Supreme Leader Snoke to Emperor Palpatine isn't all that much in the movies himself either. Like when he's there with the purpose, and he's there for 5 minutes too. So it's like in that regard, they really like didn't stray that much from.
Oh no,
but they did previously with the emperors and supreme leaders, or whatever you want to call them. So, and then and that leads us right into the Knights of Ren, which don't get much mention here either, and people expected it, and because they didn't get any explanation behind Knights of Ren, they were kind of disappointed. They thought that they couldn't understand Kylo Ren, but to me,
well, I always figured those were the same kids who left with Kylo from the Luke's Academy.
Well, probably they were. They probably were. And listen, I mean, even if they weren't, that will bring us into our next part of the video, but even if they weren't, like, they'll all probably, like, wherever they are, whoever they are, they're not in the picture right now. Anyway, so it's like, wherever they are, like, they may be dead or alive.
To the story.
Exactly, because Star Wars is pretty much Skywalker family soap opera.
Or it was up until this point. At this point, they really kind of merged out. And here's the thing that you always knew: once Disney bought Lucasfilm, once they announced stuff was gonna happen. They were gonna deviate from what we were seeing in Star Wars so far.
Yeah,
they were gonna use the old characters. Because there was no way you make Episode 7 without bringing Han back, without bringing Luke back, without bringing Chewie back, without bringing Princess Leia back. There was no way. Your fans would never forgive you. So you had to bring him back, but in order to announce, listen, we're doing our own thing, you had to move away from that. They had to really go into like, okay, maybe they all died, they bring him back as Force ghosts or whatever, but you knew they were gonna...
Well, you know Luke is definitely coming back as Force ghost, so...
Yeah, and Luke dies, spoiler. Well, the way he dies, they gave him an honorable death.
Oh, definitely.
I like the way he died.
Luke was always... I even have
because I was hoping he's more in this movie, but you saw it. It was written all over. He was gonna die.
I was hoping it wasn't.
And the whole movie, I was like, God, don't let it happen, because I really want to see more Luke. But it was written all over.
Listen,
he was gonna die at the end, and they gave him a good death, an honorable death. They gave him a fantastic death, if you would.
From the first time I saw A New Hope, Luke was always my favorite character in this movie, and it's like one thing I looked forward to the most in The Force Awakens was Luke Skywalker, and then we got a glimpse of him, and then in this movie we got a whole lot more of him in a way that I didn't expect we were
I actually did. I thought he was gonna be this grumpy old guy living on an island.
But listen,
and it kind of happened.
Yeah,
like he shut himself off from the world, from the Force, and it was there. It happened. So
yeah, and then it's like the Force, the Knights of Ren, Emperor Snoke, Supreme Leader Snoke. He's not an emperor. So
that like, guy with the hole in his cheek.
Basically, it brings us down to the Force and Rey's parents. Okay. And there's been, listen...
She must be a Skywalker too, because this is
she must be a Kenobi. And you know what? To me, all those theories kind of made sense, but...
To me, they never really didn't, because...
To me, they did.
This brings us back to what Disney... The branching out part. Her parents were nobodies who sold her for drinking money.
Basically.
Her parents were not Force users, her parents were not
And even if Kenobis. They were, we don't know.
They weren't Kenobis, they weren't Skywalkers.
They weren't Solos.
They weren't Solos, they weren't Chewies or Porgs.
Or even Ezra Bridgers and Sabine's, or even Kanan and Hera's kid.
Yeah, like...
And if you don't know who those people are, it's like... Go watch Star Wars Rebels, okay? Go see it.
The thing is, yeah, her parents were not Force users.
Not all Jedis were killed when the Emperor issued an Order 66. So
exactly.
Like, there is few that remained other than Yoda and Ben Kenobi, like the Ezra... And listen, in regards to Ezra Bridger, it brings us back to Rey, because her parents were not Force users, maybe they were, we don't know who they were, and it doesn't really matter, because in the Star Wars universe, you can be sensitive to the Force no matter who you are, or who your parents are.
It's not like, one of those things like one of your parents has to be a Force user, quite possibly be better if both your parents are Force users, then you can be strong in the Force. It's not like that. Listen, they can be nobodies, you can be both still sensitive to the Force, and you saw this here with
And I kind of expected that to happen with Rey too, because like
That's why all those speculations and rumors
because of all the speculations and rumors, I was something like, God, please let it not be Skywalker, and God, please don't let it be Kenobi. I want her to be somebody completely else. So there's that. So I'm glad.
You also have the Broom Kid, who's also sensitive to the Force.
Which also makes sense, because really, like if you're watching Star Wars Rebel, if you watch Clone Wars, if you read books probably. Or comic books.
If you're like keeping up with all the canon.
There's a lot of characters that are sensitive to the Force that didn't necessarily have parents who were sensitive to the Force, or maybe they were like.
And then you didn't see in the movies so far.
Listen, we know.
But now you're gonna see him in the movies. This is the branching out part.
Exactly.
Where Disney is gonna branch out. They're gonna move away from the Skywalkers and the Solos, and they're gonna do something different. And they show you with Rey, like, okay, it's possible to be sensitive to the Force without your parents being so.
Yeah,
now you saw a kid on a planet, I forgot the name, and he does the same thing. He's sensitive to the Force.
The casino planet, yeah.
Yet, his parents, obviously, we don't even know who his parents are. He's an orphan. So
or a slave or something, just like Anakin was. And speaking of Anakin, like, he was pretty much virgin born, so to speak. Like, we don't, like, his father, like, he was given birth by the Force. So, like, other than him, like, that's the only time that happened. So, listen.
So there's gonna be stuff.
And when they
Disney's gonna move on. They're gonna do so much.
When the Emperor issued an Order 66, you know, to kill all the Jedis, they pretty much killed all the Jedi. They were fighting for the Republic. And few got away, like Ben Kenobi and Kanan and Yoda. The three of them got away, but I can't remember for sure if they started killing the Force users afterwards, and if they were, which they probably were. I could be wrong on this. Like, I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan, okay?
Yeah, we didn't keep up with all the canon.
We watched the animated shows, we watched the movies, but that's it. We don't read the books. You do, sometimes. But listen.
I have them all, just...
Whether they killed off Force users or not, we know they chased them around a lot. And some of them got recruited to be the Inquisitors. Like, if you watch the animated series, these Inquisitors were basically like Sith, even though they weren't, and were hunting down Jedi. So they were still alive and hunting down rebels. And so there's a lot of other Force users out there. Some of them were able to survive and hide their sensitivity to the Force. And there's other beings that are Force sensitive, like on these other planets. Like, if you watch Rebels, like, you know, there's like these packs of wolves on the I can't remember the name. planet. It'll come to me later. And there's like these other beings that are Lothal, on Lothal, Ezra Bridger's home planet, and they're basically like sensitive to the Force. They can do all these, like these wolves on Lothal, they can basically transport you from like one point, like they can teleport you pretty much, like that's what they do. Among other things. So it's like, and there's this other being on this other planet when the rebellion was looking for planets to set up base camps at. There was this magnificent, like elephant-like creature that was basically so sensitive to the Force, and that I mean, it's like the stuff they do with that character is pretty amazing too. I was like, it's so. I hope that someday soon we see one of those creatures in the movies. So
it's all part of the canon.
Because
so
when you see it in animation, like they can with animation they can do pretty much whatever they want, and it's like I would love to see some practical / CGI effects with those beasts in the movies.
I'm pretty sure we're gonna see that
spectacular, man. That would be pretty spectacular because some of those beings are absolutely amazing. Just not just in the way they're designed, but just in the stuff that they can do. So yeah.
So as you can see, there's plenty of stuff happening. It's a galaxy far, far away, and it's a big galaxy. So there's stuff happening there. There's people, you know.
Yeah, and I want
just because it's not in the movie doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah, and I want. Do you want to touch on the? I mean, we gotta talk. Do we want to talk about Princess Leia dying or like Luke dying? Because to me, that was pretty much the way they did it. It was pretty spectacular. So. I mean...
So basically we didn't get Princess Leia's death. We kind of thought that we might.
I thought about Carrie Fisher's dying and this being her probably last movie, so...
But then again, I think somebody mentioned that she taped a bunch of her episode 9 stuff already.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
Or I think it was even almost all of it.
Pretty much all of it, I think.
Probably gonna see Carrie Fisher in episode 9.
It's possible. Some point. They said they weren't gonna see her, but they weren't gonna show in episode 9. But after
the way they left episode 8, I think. Listen, Luke dies in episode 8. It happens at the end. He basically, after he shuts himself from the Force, he kind of opens himself up.
Once Rey visits him, I think he's the cranky old guy. Yeah. And he just doesn't.
But it's actually Yoda's visit that kind of shakes him loose, if you would. So basically he opens himself up to the Force and he transports himself, releases his energy, helps the rebels out one last time, basically faces off with Kylo Ren to let him escape. Of course Kylo kills him even though he's not really there. He wastes
the Force,
so much energy needed to transport himself. Yeah. So basically you see him sitting on the rock and then robe just kind of folds on itself.
Died the same way Obi-Wan Kenobi did, pretty much. So
he just, and both Leia and Rey felt it when he died. There was no sadness, there was actually hope. And he does his whole monologue thing with Kylo when just before he dies. It's just, whoever wrote that stuff,
for one single moment you think Kylo Ren is gonna just change his mind and he's not gonna go down the dark path, he's gonna come around to the light side, and you see that happening throughout the movie, like because he and Rey got this connection through the Force that was initiated by Emperor Supreme Leader Snoke, but it turns out like even though if he initiated it,
you couldn't really control it. They kind of, it takes its own way. Basically, they're in communication.
And you think like it's like you're thinking like either Rey could switch or Kylo Ren could switch, and they could all like. But at the end, like you see, is like the final showdown between the two of them basically, and then Luke coming in to save their butts. Things go down the way that you kind of expect them to go. So,
but the whole showdown at the end, when Luke shows up, is just... And I think it's fun because we expected Princess Leia to die naturally because Carrie Fisher passed away.
Not really. I expected her to finish the movie, and then I'm thinking they're gonna kill her off in between the movies.
I was hoping they don't. And the thing is, with Luke dying, I don't think they wanted Princess Leia's character to die. And there's a touchy moment between Luke and Leia before he goes for the final showdown with Kylo Ren. That's really touching if you look into the whole bigger picture.
It's sad. The only thing that's said about the this trilogy, 79 is that we didn't get Han, Solo, Chewie, and Princess Leia all together. It was at the same time. So it was like that's the only sad part of it. It's like we got all three of them, but it was at their like
they never met up really.
Yeah, not
and
all
the
of them
thing is,
anyway.
yeah. So with Luke dying, I don't think they wanted to kill off Princess Leia.
It's like
and
you
with
know,
her
yeah.
taping all the stuff that she did, or most of her scenes for Episode 9, I think they give her. They make Episode 9 her
final episode.
Yeah, final episode. And
final
they,
movie.
Yeah, and they make it kind of her legacy, if you would, with Episode 9. I think they might do something special. Listen, she might die in the end, in the beginning. She might die halfway through it.
She might die between the movies. Yeah.
I think they're gonna do something special with Episode 9 as portraying to Princess Leia. I think they're
gonna
make it their final
knowing
farewell.
J.J. Abrams is on the job, yeah, I'm sure. And
I think they're gonna do something special, and it's gonna be her like tribute, her legacy, if you would.
Yeah, it's like because we're speaking about that character, I'm not even going to the Colin Trevorrow being removed. I'm just gonna mention it just so I drop it. But yeah, I'm sure JJ is gonna do a fine job. Listen, he did a great thing with Force Awakens. I didn't like few of the things in that movie.
Listen, I don't like the way they brought him to Episode 9. With all
okay, when we want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
But I like the fact that they gave it to JJ.
If they had to give it to anyone, I'm glad it was JJ. Okay,
yeah.
It's like the way he was brought into it, I didn't like it. I think it was just Colin Trevorrow's Book of Henry movie not doing well at the box office, so they haven't removed from the project. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe
I don't think they would have paid
else.
that much difference with the Star Wars franchise. But JJ's gonna do a fantastic job. Brian's getting his own trilogy.
Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson. And he did such a spectacular job on The Last Jedi that Disney basically said, okay, you want to do more of these. And he supposedly pitched him an idea about doing a trilogy that's, okay, that it is part of the Star Wars.
If you're watching this, like you know these news, so it's like...
But he's basically doing his own thing. He's not going to use any of the characters we've seen so far. He basically gets a clean slate.
I'm sure it's gonna be bounty hunters. Most likely, man.
Basically, they gave him a clean slate and say, do your trilogy, put it anywhere, do whatever you want. There's gonna be, after what he did with The Last Jedi, there's gonna be really fun stuff to see.
And Rebel Season 4 is ending earlier next year, so it's like, I'm looking forward to that. I'm just like, one more chapter closes in the Star Wars universe.
Listen, so much stuff is happening in the galaxy far, far away. It's just, listen, 10 years ago, you would never have thought this was all gonna be happening, and now you're seeing this in the front seat of what's happening here. We get a Star Wars movie every year, and there's all this stuff happening. It's just
the Han Solo movie is coming out. So I was like,
and there's so much stuff happening. It's a good time to be a Star Wars fan. That's all I'm gonna say.
Definitely.
So there was a lot of babbling going on.
We hope we didn't bore you to death. If you stuck around this far, thanks for sticking it out this far. And this
all of this stuff is like, we don't reshoot this stuff. We don't do reshoots. At the same time, we just listen. We wing it, so it kind of goes.
No script. We just say what's on our mind.
It's not scripted at all. It's live.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't.
Man.
Sometimes maybe he deletes stuff. I don't even watch our videos.
No, I just...
that's it from us. There's a couple of good movies.
Dude, I mean, if I had any more skills or better program, it's like these videos would look better, but for right now, it's just two guys in front of a camera. And
uncut, unplugged, if you would.
Pretty much, yeah.
Basically,
it's pretty much how we do everything in life, too. So it's like, we rarely prepare. I mean, sometimes I prepare for things, for most stuff I
never prepare for things.
Dude, stuff happens in life. It's the only way to go through life. If you prepare for everything, there's gonna be stuff that's gonna throw you off your plan, off your road.
We think on our feet.
Yeah, well, just like Indiana Jones, which is another George Lucas movie. So, dude, I mean, come on, it all comes. It's a circle of. Circle of life, man. It was like another Disney movie. It's like, look at us throwing references out there, man.
We're on the roll. So basically...
Like a Rickroll?
Pun intended.
Oh, always.
Basically,
even when
so,
it's
yeah.
not intended, it's intended.
Year's ending. It's 20th of December. We might come back with there's a couple of movies coming. The Greatest Showman on Earth is out tomorrow. There's Jumanji and another one coming out on the 28th. We might come back with a review or two.
Definitely
before the end of the year.
But we're planning a special video for Christmas, so it's like I mean, I don't know if it's gonna go live on Christmas or not. It's like the.
This is the first I'm hearing.
No, it's
just
second.
So you know.
It's second. It's second time. I already told you about this, man.
You didn't, but
you'll remember.
Basically,
anyways,
yeah, we might drop a video or two.
It's
before the year ends. We're gonna open up the year with a couple of videos as well, I guess. Depending on what movies we see.
Yeah, we may just do another video. We have a few topics. I have a few topics in mind. So it's like
I said, I don't prepare for
that's the only preparation I actually do. Is like just think of topics, I write them down, and that's it. That's how I prepare. That's it.
But if you stuck around this
long, it's like thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. It was fun. I guess it was fun for us. I guess we didn't bore you to death. You know, at least made you pee your pants or something. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Oh, it's like before we go, just one more Star Wars thing. Listen, I love Ewoks and I love porgs. Okay, like Chewbacca eating a porg.
I love that part because like, everybody was porgs, and there's Chewie eating porg. I was like, yes!
Well, the other porgs are watching him and just making sad faces. Like,
I like that
take
scene.
Over
I was like, yes, he eats porgs. I don't know whether that was in the trailer, but after all the porg mania that went on, I totally dig Chewie eating porg. I was down. I don't think he was animal
too, but because they eat human flesh. So to all the Ewok haters out there, I don't care about you. Okay, it's like Ewoks are awesome. So yeah.
And the porgs look like chicken. That's all.
They are poultry. So they have wings. They can't fly, but they have them, just like penguins. So it's like one could draw like a line right there.
So if he finds, we're gonna leave you with a picture of Chewie eating a pork.
No, we're not. It's like I have editing skills to do that, but it's just too much work.
All right, that's it from us. Till next time.
Bash Bros out.